10 years of dedication erased in 10 minutes. That's how long it took Harold Bennett, CEO of Bennett Marketing Group, to destroy my career, or so he thought. "Sarah, we're restructuring the department," he said, not even bothering to look up from his phone. "Madison needs a position befitting her qualifications," and while he gestured vaguely at my portfolio of successful campaigns spread across his desk, "we need to make some changes." Madison, his daughter, fresh out of college with a degree in fashion merchandising and zero marketing experience. But apparently, her qualifications trumped my decade of proven success and client relationships I'd built from scratch. I'm Olivia Chen, and this is how I lost everything and gained something much bigger. "Mr. Bennett," I kept my voice steady, professional. "The Silverstone account alone brought in $12 million last year. My team's campaigns have doubled the agency's revenue since I took over as creative director." Now he did look up, his expression a mix of condescension and false sympathy. Yes, and we appreciate that. You'll receive a generous severance package, but Madison needs to start her career somewhere, and frankly, she has fresh ideas, modern perspectives. You understand. Fresh ideas, like the one I'd overheard her pitching last week, turning our B2B software client's website into a cute Instagram aesthetic with lots of pastels. The client whose technical marketing strategy I'd crafted over 3 years of careful relationship building. "When do you need me to leave?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "Today would be best." Madison's eager to get started. He pushed a manila envelope across the desk. "HR has prepared everything. We'll need your keycard and laptop before you go." 10 years. Gone in 10 minutes. I walked back to my office, no Madison's office now, in a daze. The corner space with its floor-to-ceiling windows that I'd earned through years of late nights and successful pitches would now belong to someone who'd never worked a day in her life. "Olivia?" My assistant Michael hovered in the doorway, his face pale. "Is it true? They're letting you go?" I nodded, already pulling files from my desk. "Madison Bennett needs my position. Apparently, her fashion degree makes her more qualified than a decade of actual marketing experience. But what about the Silverstone presentation next week? The whole campaign is in your head." Michael's voice rose with panic. "No one else knows the strategy like you do." I paused, my hand hovering over a file folder. The Silverstone account. Our biggest client, a tech company that had trusted me with their $50 million marketing budget. The presentation was supposed to be my crowning achievement, a complete digital transformation strategy that would revolutionize their brand. "I'm sure Madison will figure something out," I said, my tone carefully neutral. "Maybe she can suggest some pastels." 2 security guards appeared at my door, a clear signal that Bennett wasn't taking any chances. As if I might steal office supplies. The real valuable assets were all up here, in my head. The client relationships, the strategic insights, the deep understanding of market dynamics that had made me one of the most successful creative directors in the industry. "Your laptop, Ms. Chen," one of the guards prompted. I handed it over, knowing it didn't matter. I'd learned early in my career to keep detailed backups of everything. Not company property, of course, just my own notes, insights, and industry research. A decade of knowledge safely stored in my personal cloud account. As I packed my personal items into a box, I could hear Madison's voice carrying down the hallway, high and excited. "Daddy, can we redecorate? This office is so boring. I'm thinking pink walls and maybe one of those neon sign things." Michael helped me carry my box to the elevator, his face still stunned. "What are you going to do?" I smiled, thinking of the email I'd received just last week, the one I'd almost dismissed as a strange coincidence. "I'm going to take some time off, maybe do some consulting work." "But the Silverstone presentation isn't my problem anymore." I cut him off gently. "Madison has fresh ideas, remember." The security guards escorted me to the lobby, past colleagues who quickly looked away. No one wanted to risk their own position by showing sympathy to the fallen executive. That was fine. I didn't need their sympathy. Outside, the spring air was crisp and clean. I took a deep breath, pulling out my phone and opening an email I'd received 8 days ago. "Dear Ms. Chen, I represent Quantum Ventures, a private equity firm interested in acquiring marketing agencies in the Northeast region. We followed your work with great interest and would appreciate a confidential meeting to discuss potential opportunities. Best regards, James Sullivan, Managing Director. At the time, I found it odd that they'd reach out to me personally rather than through Bennett Marketing Group's corporate channels. Now it seemed like perfect timing. I hit reply. Mr. Sullivan, I find myself unexpectedly available for a meeting. Would tomorrow work for you? Best regards, Olivia Chen. The response came almost immediately. Perfect. 9 a.m., the Pierre Hotel, Suite 1500. I smiled, flighting down a taxi. Bennett thought he was giving his daughter my job. He didn't realize he was giving me something far more valuable. Freedom. That evening, I sat in my apartment reviewing my personal files. Every campaign strategy I'd ever created, every client insight I'd gathered, every industry trend I'd analyzed, all meticulously documented. Not company property, just my own professional knowledge. My phone buzzed with a text from Michael. Madison spent an hour trying to access your strategy docs for Silverstone. Then she told her dad the files must be corrupted. He's freaking out. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop and began writing. Not a marketing strategy this time, but a business plan. Bennett had taught me an invaluable lesson today. Never build something for someone else when you could build it for yourself. My phone kept buzzing with messages from colleagues. Did you really get fired? Madison doesn't even know what B2B means. The Silverstone people are asking for you. I ignored them all, focusing on my plan. Years of watching Bennett run his agency had taught me exactly what not to do. Now it was time to put that knowledge to use. At exactly 9 p.m., another email arrived. Ms. Chen, looking forward to our meeting tomorrow. Bring your ideas for revolutionizing the agency landscape. Money is no object for the right vision. Asterisk James Sullivan. I smiled, thinking of Madison struggling with my files, of Bennett realizing too late what he'd lost, of the Silverstone presentation that was doomed to fail spectacularly. But mostly, I thought about next week. The Silverstone meeting would be interesting indeed, just not in the way Bennett was expecting. I stayed up late into the night, refining my plans. Sometimes the best revenge isn't fighting back immediately. Sometimes it's stepping back and letting people destroy themselves while you build something better. Bennett thought he was giving his daughter a shortcut to success. Instead, he was about to give me the perfect opportunity to show him exactly what he'd thrown away. The next morning, I dressed carefully in my best power suit. The one I'd worn to sign the Silverstone contract. It seemed fitting. After all, I was about to sign something even bigger. The Pierre Hotel loomed ahead. Its elegant architecture, a stark contrast to Bennett Marketing Group's try-hard modern office. Inside, the elevator whispered as it carried me to the 15th floor. Suite 1500 was actually a penthouse conference room with sweeping views of Central Park. James Sullivan, a distinguished man in his 60s, stood to greet me. Ms. Chen, thank you for coming. I believe we have much to discuss. The meeting with James Sullivan lasted 3 hours. By the end, my hand was shaking slightly as I signed the papers that would change everything. Welcome to Quantum Ventures, Ms. Chen, Sullivan said, his eyes twinkling. Or should I say, welcome to your new company. I looked down at the documents. Quantum wasn't just giving me funding. They were giving me control. $15 million in startup capital to launch my own agency with the backing of one of the most powerful private equity firms in the country. Just one question, I said. Why me? Sullivan smiled. We've been watching you for years. Your strategies for Silverstone alone proved you understand where the industry is heading. Bennett was a fool to let you go, but his loss is our gain. 1 week later, I sat in another conference room, this time at the Silverstone Technologies headquarters. My phone had been buzzing nonstop with updates from my former colleagues about the impending disaster at Bennett Marketing Group. Madison had spent the week redecorating my old office and posting Instagram stories about girl boss vibes. She hadn't bothered to look at any of the client files or campaign data. Why would she? Daddy would fix everything just like he always had. The conference room doors opened. Harold Bennett strode in, Madison trailing behind him clutching a pink laptop. Their confident expressions faltered when they saw me sitting there. Olivia? Bennett's face reddened. What are you doing here? This is a private meeting. Is it? I smiled. I was invited. Before he could respond, more people entered the room. James Sullivan. the CEO of Silverstone Technologies, their entire executive team. Harold, the Silverstone CEO, nodded curtly. I believe you know everyone except our new marketing partner. Though actually, he smiled at me. It seems you do know her. Bennett's face went from red to pale. Marketing partner? Yes, I said smoothly, opening my laptop. Quantum Axis, my new agency, will be handling all of Silverstone's marketing going forward. In fact, I gestured to Sullivan. We just finalized the contracts this morning. Madison's pink laptop slipped from her fingers, clattering onto the conference table. But we have a presentation prepared. Do you? I raised an eyebrow. Please, go ahead. Bennett grabbed his daughter's arm. Actually, we should reschedule. Give us time to. No, the Silverstone CEO's voice was firm. I'd like to see this presentation. Madison, you were telling me yesterday about your fresh perspectives. Madison looked like she might faint. Well, show them your ideas, sweetie, Bennett encouraged desperately. The ones about making their website more, what was it? Instagram aesthetic, I supplied hopefully, with pastels. The Silverstone executives exchanged glances. Their company produced enterprise-level cybersecurity software for Fortune 500 companies. Instagram aesthetics weren't exactly on brand. Madison opened her laptop, pulled up a PowerPoint, and began the most painful presentation I'd ever witnessed. Stock photos of millennials laughing at salads. Suggestions to make cybersecurity fun and flirty. A proposal to rename their flagship product Tech Defender. The silence when she finished was deafening. Well, the Silverstone CEO cleared his throat. That was interesting. Olivia, perhaps you could share your vision. I stood up, clicked once on my laptop, and brought up detailed market analysis, user behavior studies, and a comprehensive digital transformation strategy. Everything I'd been working on before being fired, now refined and expanded with Quantum's resources. As you can see, I concluded 30 minutes later by integrating AI-driven personalization with enterprise-level security protocols. We can increase engagement while maintaining your core brand identity as a serious industry leader. Applause broke out among the Silverstone executives. Bennett looked like he'd swallowed something sour. I think we've seen everything we need to, the CEO announced. Harold, I'll be direct. We're terminating our contract with Bennett Marketing Group, effective immediately. Olivia's new agency will be taking over all our marketing activities. You can't do that, Bennett exploded. We have a contract. A contract, Sullivan spoke up. That includes performance clauses and professional standards requirements. Clauses that I believe you've dramatically violated with today's presentation. Bennett turned to me, his face contorted with rage. You planned this. You stole our client. No, Harold, I said calmly. You fired the person your biggest client trusted. You replaced years of experience with nepotism. You destroyed your own company. I just built a better one. Daddy, Madison whimpered. Do something. But there was nothing he could do. In one morning, Bennett Marketing Group had lost their biggest client, worth nearly 40% of their annual revenue. By the end of the month, they'd lose 6 more major accounts as word spread about Madison's disastrous presentation. The best part? I didn't have to steal a single client. They came to me on their own, drawn by my reputation and disgusted by Bennett's unprofessionalism. 1 year later, I sat in my own corner office, this one with an even better view. Quantum Axis had grown from just me to a team of 50, including Michael and several other former Bennett employees who jumped ship. Bennett Marketing Group still existed, but barely. Last I heard, they downsized to a small office in the suburbs, handling local business advertising. Madison had quit after 3 months, taking a job as a social media manager for a boutique dog accessories company. My phone buzzed. A message from Michael. You'll never guess who's in the lobby. I pulled up the security feed and laughed. Harold Bennett, looking much older and decidedly less polished, pacing nervously by the reception desk. Should we let him up? Michael texted. I thought about it. Bennett had taught me the most valuable lesson of my career. Never let someone else control your destiny. And trying to give his daughter a shortcut to success. He'd given me the push I needed to build something far greater than I ever imagined. Send him up, I replied. And Michael? Make sure there's a nice pink latte waiting for him, with extra pastels. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's letting them see exactly what they lost. And as Bennett stepped into my office, his eyes taking in the awards on my walls and the view of the city behind me, I knew he was finally seeing it. "Harold," I smiled, gesturing to a chair. "What can Quantum Access do for you today?" He sat down heavily, his former arrogance replaced by desperation. "Olivia, we need help. The agency is struggling. Maybe we could work something out." I leaned back in my chair, thinking of that day in his office a year ago. "Of course," I said smoothly. "I'm always happy to help. In fact, I pulled out a contract from my desk. I've been thinking about acquiring some smaller local agencies, for the tax write-off." His face flushed as he realized what I was suggesting. "You want to buy Bennett Marketing Group? Consider it a restructuring," I said, using his own words from a year ago. After all, sometimes we need to make changes to accommodate new qualifications. The look on his face was worth every moment of humiliation I'd endured. Sometimes life has a way of bringing things full circle, and sometimes getting fired is the best thing that can happen to you. If you're ready to build something bigger from the ashes. I pushed the contract across my desk, offering him a pen. "Shall we discuss terms?"